Good morning, it's Howard, this is Darren. This is our first video, so I thought before we get started today I'd better introduce you to Darren. So Darren's been helping me out for nearly 7 years now, or hanging around for 7 years. And initially I met Darren through when I built Cool Mint, that I needed some information on how to get that car back together because it came in boxes. And Darren had his car at MotorX, which was a fully unrestored XB GT. So that's how we met. And it turned out that he lives about 3 kilometres from our place. So, and we built up a friendship, and then he sort of hung around for a bit, and now it's worked into 7 years later that he works 3 days a week for me building all these cars. Okay, so now that we've introduced you, just to so everyone knows a little bit about you, what's your sort of background and how did you end up with the GT?
When I was 17, I used to walk past the XW GT while I was going to work in Wollongong. I promised myself I'd own that car one day. Anyway, I went to my dad, went and talked to the bank, and 17 and a half, the GT was mine. It took a little while to convince the owner of the car. He didn't want a young bloke to pretty much smash up his pride and joy. So I think it took a month to talk to him and convince him that I'd look after it. And I owned that car for just over 20 years.
I was just going to say that was the one that you had when I first met you.
Yes, the X and Y XW GT.
Yeah, okay. So then obviously you had that and had that a long time. And I always explain to people if I'm talking about you, that you're the sort of clubby, that you're the GT guy. And clearly you know a lot more about GTs than me. You just want to give us a bit of background about some of the events and shows you've been to over the years?
I've been in the GT clubs for about 25 years. During those times I've participated in various GT Nationals, shows within the club, and yeah, just gained a lot of knowledge.
And won a few trophies too, because the blue one was best unrestored.
Yeah, the Blue XB GT Coupe, that won 3 consecutive nationals for best unrestored XB GT Coupe.
And I always thought that was funny because when I first seen it, I thought this car needs a resto. So
yeah,
that's where the difference is, you know.
It was a good car for a resto.
It was a perfect car for a resto, but of course, as we know, that you moved that on when we were doing your Blue Coupe, so another XB Coupe.
Yeah.
That was a salvage one, really. I mean, it was getting close to being, well, back then a car that you wouldn't restore, but nowadays it's probably not a bad one, but
yeah,
a pretty tired GT Coupe that we did here, and you'll get to see definitely a story on that and some photos about the build. And Darren and I did that, so I basically did the build as a job, but Darren worked on his own car with me, and that's how we got to a point where Darren started working here.
Yeah, it was
So what's on the go now?
I've got a US 63 Falcon convertible that I've just been doing little bits and pieces to. It was supposed to be a retirement project, but I sort of got stuck into it a little bit, and yeah, I just do a little bit on the weekends, hopefully get it on the road and just be a nice cruiser.
So that's, you know, I obviously know a bit about it, but it's pretty much stock, but it's got a little 260 V8?
Yeah, it's got a original 260 V8 that come out in the Falcons. The idea is just to leave it pretty stock, so I should have no dramas with it, so you can get in, turn the key and fix it on the side of the road if you have to.
So left hand or right hand drive?
I'm going to leave it left hand drive.
Okay, cool. When I went to the States actually, which I've only been there once, but when I went over there I was surprised it wasn't that bad driving on the wrong side of the car. But I don't know about getting out of one and into the other. Might be interesting. So Beck going to be comfortable driving left-hand drive, you think?
We'll soon see.
Alright, so that's just a bit for now, and obviously we'll all get to hear a bit more about what we all get up to.